Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new video after a brief hiatus. Today, this week I should be saying, we are going to be doing a week in the reading life. Today is Monday. I still think Monday is the start of the week. I know that is contested. But, yeah, I will just be talking about what I read in this week. Not in a week generally, because it does fluctuate. I'm going to try to finish at least 2 books this week, and I'll be telling you about what I think of those books as well as my reading journey with them. One of them I've started. It's called The Price of Salt by Patricia Highsmith. This author may sound familiar because I've read 2 other books of hers, Strangers on a Train, as well as The Talented Mr. Ripley. This book is actually the basis for the movie Carol, starring Rooney Mara and Cate Blanchett. So that's why I'm reading it. I didn't realize until I was rewatching the movie this December that it was based on a book by Patricia Highsmith, which is just so cool. Because now I've watched 3 movies that are based on Patricia Highsmith books. But yeah, I'm more than halfway through this. I'm on page 150 out of 249. So I have about 100 pages left. A big inspiration for me starting this video this week is that we actually have a snow day today because there's a blizzard. So I have nothing to do, basically, more or less, for school. At least I don't have classes, more or less. I have an online one or work I have to do. Anyway, I'm trying not to talk about my life outside of reading during this video, as for most videos, I would say. But yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely different than the movie. I think I like the movie more. I will leave it at that for now. I'll be back at latest when I finish the book. It's only 100 pages. I'm going to try to finish it today because, again, barely have anything to do. Would you rather me tell you the next book that I'm reading now or later when I start it? I'll do it later. Okay, hi. It's later in the day. I have not finished it yet. It's 8 something, 8:30ish, a little after. I have like 40 pages left, but the main reason why I'm videotaping is because we actually have the day off tomorrow as well. It was recently-ish announced, around 4, so like 4 hours ago. But yeah, that definitely makes me more confident about finishing this book, The Price of Salt, as well as the other book, the next book, that I'm still not going to tell you, so keep on watching. But yeah, maybe I'll see you later today after I finish this book. I can stay up because I don't have school tomorrow. But I don't think it should take that long to finish it, an hour at most, because again, it's only like 47 pages, and I feel like I read faster than a minute a page, but maybe not. A page a minute? One of them. Hey, okay, I'm gonna use a tripod for the first time this entire school year. It is like 11:53, maybe. I did finish it, so yeah. I was so, for lack of a better term, I felt very unmotivated to do anything. So yeah, I finished the book, which was the goal, which is good. But yeah, I didn't start the other book, and it was like on the wire when I finished the book. But I have some notes. First of all, this is a library book, which I might have mentioned. What's really cool is that, and also slightly problematic, is that someone wrote in it. So I can see notes from the person that checked out this book. I don't know their name. I don't know if it's for a class. I kind of think that it's for a class or for a dissertation or something, some kind of assignment. Maybe it was before it was a library book. No idea. But yeah, I've seen this like trend with previous library books. I've also got like people have underlined and written little things in the margins, and someone not highlighting, but someone like zooming in on a certain section like this makes me think that it's important myself. It's pretty cool. It's like seeing a book in the eyes of someone else. I love that. I went into this thinking I was going to experience the movie. I think that's pretty natural sometimes. But it is definitely different, worse, I would say, which is not always the case. I have an entire playlist where I talk about like books versus TV shows / movies, like their adaptations. I feel like everyone always says the book is always better. The movie is better than this, I would say. It's different. A big difference is I feel like the two main characters, Therese and Carol, have more chemistry in the movie. I'm gonna try not to spoil. I'll try not to, but yeah, I just believe their interactions more in the movie. Therese is described in both pieces of work as young, but in this one, at the beginning, she's 19, and that's very young. I'm 19, and that's pretty young. She is the main character, but she, as with all the Patricia Highsmith books that I've read, she's obsessed with another character, namely Carol, and that obsession has me rolling my eyes a bit. She doesn't have, her life outside of Carol is smaller than her life related to Carol, if that makes sense. She spends more time thinking about Carol in her own life, I feel like, and I didn't like that. Yeah. In the movie, it was more subtle, but this one, it's more direct, and it's more annoying, in my opinion. I am video recording in a hallway. Very brave of me. So you may hear people going by. You will. Those were actually all my notes. I didn't even look down, and I got all of them down. That's pretty cool. I really like Patricia Highsmith's writing. She's maybe my new favorite new author, even though she's dead. I've discovered her in the past less than a year, I guess. I'm pretty sure. But I've read three of her books, and I've liked them. Yeah. If I were to rank them, I read Strangers on a Train, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and The Price of Salt. And I would say I like Strangers on a Train the best. And then The Price of Salt, and then The Talented Mr. Ripley, maybe? I'm not sure. I tried to start. I did. I started the second book in the Thomas Ripley series, and I just stopped because I didn't want to commit to the 5-book series. But yeah, I could write down every single line that I like of Patricia Highsmith's, but I would run out of paper. So yeah, I did write down a few though. One, there were pauses between her sentences as if she left out sentences in between. Are you kidding me? I'm also in the process of like 2 different book ideas myself, and this book kind of is inspiring one of those ideas a lot, more than I thought. I have had the idea before reading this book, but like I'm kind of taking pieces from this and I'm saying that I could use that in my book. All right. And then the last thing I want to do in this video before I theoretically go to sleep is talk about the book that I'm going to be starting tomorrow. Without exposing my name or my college. It's called How You Say It, Why We Judge Others by the Way They Talk and the Cost of This Hidden Bias. Why is it upside down? Oh, it's from NYU. That's cool. It's by Catherine D. Kinsler, and it is due. It's an Iliad, which means it's from another library, not the library within my organization, and it's due on the 27th of February. It is the 24th now, I'm pretty sure, if it's the next day, but 23rd as of starting this video. But yeah, I think it's doable to read quickly. The other day, because of a class, I read a 220-page novel in like 6 hours, so I know I can do it. And I'm looking at this, and it looks like it is 186 pages, if you don't include the acknowledgements and the notes, which I will not be reading properly. So yeah, 186. I can do that in 3 days. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it, and I will see you after I start it, or when I want to talk about it, or sometime. See you tomorrow. Hey, okay, these are my PJs, so don't judge me too hard. But I started it. I'm not finished. I said 280 or 183, something like that. I'm on page 60, and I just ran into something that I just read about yesterday, related to a reading I had to do for a class I'm in called Diversity Issues in Human Development and Family Sciences. Sorry, I hope the vent's not too loud. But this is the second occurrence in this reading where I read about something that I've already read about for another class. You may know this. No way you will, actually. I haven't said it. I used to be a linguistics minor, and I took a class called Ling 1010, and we talked about language. How surprising. I thought this was going to actually be more about like conversation and the different nuances your voice can take in order to bring across different messages, but it's more about linguistics, which I'm fine about. I just wasn't expecting it. But anyway, something they discussed was different exposure to language, what happens if a person is exposed to language late. They told about two different people named Jeannie and Isabella who were exposed to language late. I read about that in the Ling 1010 class, and also I learned about Nicaraguan Sign Language, where basically a school in Nicaragua that was full of deaf children. The deaf children created their own language called Nicaraguan Sign Language, which is so cool to me. But yeah, I love hearing about things that I've already heard about in another context. I also saw the name Daniel Kahneman and Amor Towles, maybe. I think that's his last name. But I read a book earlier last year. I started a book called Thinking Fast and Slow, which is written by the latter. I ended up, I don't want to say DNFing, but kind of. I'm going to start it over eventually. But yeah, but it's so interesting. Some other cool things that I've learned about language because of this book so far is like how quickly Children International adopted kids can adopt their new language, assimilate to their new language. There's a case study about a child that was Russian that was adopted by English parents, and soon when her parents would play Russian music to get her, I don't know, like just so she could have some of her like culture embedded into like American society, she would start crying and screaming because now she associates Russian with her past, but now she's in America. I just thought that was really interesting. And yeah, there was another one. What was the other one? Another cool thing was if a person was asked the same question in two different languages, they would respond potentially in two different ways. And the way they would respond would be associated with the language that it was spoken in. I definitely still have a lot of passion for linguistics, so I'm glad this is kind of like itching my little scratch for it, I guess. But yeah, I'm about a fourth through. I have 3 more days with it until I have to return it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing this book. It's so interesting. Again, linguistics, something I would say I'm kind of passionate about. It's very interesting to me, so to be able to read a book rather unexpectedly about it is pretty cool. And this also gives me hope for future reading, even after I finish this video of the week in the reading life. I've already finished one book in one day. I mean, I started it before I started this video, but now I'm a fourth through this book. So like, I can definitely read more than I think I can in a short period of time. There was a time in like sophomore year of high school, a while back, I guess 4 years now, where I was reading around, give or take, a book a week. And now I see that hypothetical situation and I'm shaking my boots, but it is attainable. I can do it. I can do it. So yeah, and this challenge is giving me perspective about that. I also want to tell you a little bit about my life outside of just filming this video, just a little. I am currently watching the 10th episode of Daisy Jones and the Six, an Amazon Prime Video TV show. I actually watched it before this. This is my first time rewatching it. And I actually have an entire playlist where I talk about watching it for the first time. So you should go check it out. Yep, it's a shameless plug. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. It's gonna look a little different because I do have school tomorrow. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna film. It may just be one video, but yeah, I'm committed. So this was day 2 out of 7 of the week of the reading life. I hope you have a good night, or you had a good night, or good morning. I don't know when you're watching this. Hey, this is gonna be real quick. Just want to let you know I'm on 90, so around 50% through. I can definitely finish this tomorrow. Very interesting book. Up my alley, for sure. I'm not learning too many new things, at least right now. But I'm still enjoying it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Very short day. Maybe tomorrow I'll try filming when I read, even if I don't talk, like the time-lapse sort of thing. No promises, though. Hi. Yeah, we're actually recording during the day for once. I just finished How You Say It. Took 4 days maybe. It's Friday now. Happy Friday. So interesting. Accents. I hadn't considered accents in this way before reading this book. How we attribute certain things to accents. How everyone, I knew this, but I was reminded in this book, everyone has an accent. How I'm speaking right now is an accent. Yeah. Let that sink in. At the end, like in the conclusion, it talks about how important it is to not speak about people monolithically, saying that this group of people are this thing, because they're individuals. Everyone's an individual. Yeah. It's just really good. It's really good. Another kind of standout chapter was on the basis of speech. It's probably standout because I recently read it, but it just talks about like legislation where people, or not legislation, cases where people were allegedly treated differently because of the way they talked. Have you ever thought about like how you think about certain ways people speak? Yeah, you will after reading this book or starting this book. It's very good. It talked about how like in media, people, like the good guys sometimes have American accents and the bad guys have like foreign accents. So interesting. I'm also reading this from an American perspective, and I think this book is kind of also written from an American perspective. So I would consider that. This is another book and another experience that just makes me regret not having learned more languages when I was a kid. You know how people say, I should have bought a house in 2012. I should have been learning 3 languages in 2012. I was 6. So yeah, what was I doing then? A whole lot of nothing. Nothing useful. I've spoken Spanish. Is that proper grammar? Whatever, doesn't matter. I started learning Spanish in 6th grade when I was 12 or 11-ish, but that's kind of late. The book also mentioned how the author recommends just languages other than like your native language should be taught in schools, like in elementary school instead of middle school, because like the older you get, the harder it is to learn a language, especially after around age 7. I've learned Spanish because I was able to continuously be not exposed to it, but like put myself in a situation where I was exposed, like doing Duolingo, taking Spanish classes, whatever. But imagine how fluent I would be if I started before age 6. It also mentioned like how even mere exposure to another language helps you. It helps with your understanding of how other people's perceptions of events. I'm not explaining it that well. Even if you only speak English, but you are in a scenario where Spanish is spoken, or French or whatever, it increases your awareness of other people's point of view. So cool. Yeah, my parents are from Ghana. They're born in Ghana, so they grew up speaking. At least I know my mom spoke Ga, Shri, and English growing up. So she speaks 3 languages, and she's learning Spanish. She's a quadrilingual. Basically, I don't know what a polyglot is considered. I feel like it's 3 or more, but that's pretty cool. My dad speaks English, Sri, and he's also learning Spanish. Also pretty cool. I'm kind of learning. I know-ish Spanish and I know English, so bilingual, but still. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in this video, but I heard from a linguistic class that I took that over 50% of the world speaks more than one language. I would say that I'm in the majority, or I'm trying to become part of the majority, but yeah, that's a frightening statistic considering how little of America speaks, people in America speak more than one language. It just helps. It just helps for me. It just makes me want to travel more. It makes me feel more worldly. It makes me feel cooler. Just the way, I always go back to this, the way that you can use one word to describe something you need a whole sentence to describe in English in another language is so cool. I mean, even outside of language, mere exposure to something outside of the norm, of your norm, is going to help you. More or less, I would argue. At least it broadens your horizon, it broadens your perspective. So, yeah. I'm pro bilingualism, or multilingualism, and culturalism, and all that. We only have 2 days left. This took a little longer than I expected, but it's fine, because it still took pretty short. Considering I am a full-time student, and I also have part-time work. So, yeah, the next book that I'm going to read, at least start, is a book I don't have a physical copy of. It's called Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellers. I've had this audiobook on Libby for the past 14 days. Haven't started it, but now I'm starting to get it. There are 3 days left, so again, we're kind of going against there's a bit of a ticking clock here, but I can do it. It's an audiobook. While I'm walking, I'll just listen to it. That's how I get some of my reading done. Most of the books that I take the shortest amount of time to finish often are books that I listen to the audiobook of, because yeah, I'm able to do other things while doing it. I'd say multitasking, but that's a hoax. You can't really multitask, not really. So yeah, I'm thinking of a book that I read during Thanksgiving break called What Hunger by Catherine Dong, and I read that entirely on audiobook just walking around campus. I actually had a video, which you should watch now, where I recommend books based on songs on my Spotify Wrapped and Apple Music Replay. So that book is involved in that somewhat. You have to see what song or album or musician I associate it with. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm not gonna start it right away, but I need to start it soonish, because again, we only have 3 days. But yeah, this is great. I'm glad I did this video. I still have a lot of books left. You may have seen my most recent video, I'm pretty sure, where I talked about all the books that I have checked out from the library. Since that book, I have gotten more books, but I have also returned 2 after I learned how you say it, so that's cool. But yeah, as I said before, this gives me motivation, makes me realize that I can read fast in a short amount of time if I just devote the time to do it. I'm not sure how long this is going to be. It may be long, because I keep on talking. I can change that. Hey, this is going to be a good night video, but I'm really enjoying Frankenstein or Cleopatra and Frankenstein. Love the audiobook reader. I'm 10% through. I can probably finish it tomorrow. But yeah, have a good night. Hey, week 2, surprise, I'm back. As in this video never finished. It's the second week. It is Tuesday. I didn't film Monday or Sunday. But I'm continuing this video because I want to, and it's really motivating me to read more. I am in the music building of my school, so you'll hear music being played, but hopefully my monotone voice will rise above that. What has happened reading-wise since I last talked to you? Well, Cleopatra and Frankenstein returned before I was able to finish reading it. I'm about 30% through. I reserved it, or I requested it again. I also requested the physical copy from my library, so either the audiobook, I get that, or I get the physical, or best case scenario, at the same time I'll get them and I can read while listening. Another book that I forgot to mention that I was even in the midst of reading is Americana. Well, I didn't forget, I intentionally didn't tell you because I was going to tell you. I knew I was going to tell you in the future, but by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I'm in this book club with two of my friends from high school. We've been reading this. I actually just today finished reading our assigned reading for this week. Usually I wait until the last minute to read it. I read it to page 420, and that's what we wanted to read up until. So yeah, we've been reading this book. I don't even know for how long. It feels kind of long, and it's also a long book. I think I am enjoying it, especially the commentary around America from a non-American perspective. But if I were to not take such frequent breaks from reading, I would probably be enjoying this more, and I'd remember the character names more and all that. So yeah, but I hope to finish this soon-ish. Another book that I just started earlier today is called If You See Me, Don't Say Hi by Neil Patel. The author may sound familiar. It's a bit of a throwback. I read a book called Tell Me How to Be a few years back by him. It was like 2024. It was on my favorite list of books for 2024. And this is his first book. It's full of short stories that he wrote. So that's pretty cool. I'm only like 4 pages in. I actually thought it was non-fiction, but it is fiction. So, how about that? I will see you later today or tomorrow. And yeah, this will be the last week. So it'll be like a 2-week reading in the life. Hey, this is gonna be short. I'm over halfway through. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. I've always been averse to short story collections, but I'm enjoying this one. It's nice to know that you have a limited time with characters, but also sad because I want to know where they are after the story, but I can't. Kind of makes me want to read more short story collections, but also not at the same time. But yeah, I feel like a through line in them has been characters imagining what life could be with other characters, which I do in my life. It's kind of an addiction of mine, actually. It's interesting to have perspectives of like women and men, because the other book that I've read by him, Tell Me How to Be, was in the perspective. I guess there were 2 perspectives. There was the main character, who's a man, and then his mom. But like, I guess like a younger woman. I haven't had that perspective from him before this book, so that's interesting. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm a little tired. So I'm gonna sleep soon-ish. Hope you have a good day. Hope you had a good day. All right, I finished it. If You See Me, Don't Say Hi. Very interesting. Turned out the stories are related, at least some of them. It'd be interesting reading this back with that knowledge that they may be related. But another trend I've seen is cheating, which is interesting. I feel like there are parts of Tell Me How to Be interspersed into some of these stories, which is pretty interesting. It'd also be cool to read Tell Me How to Be with this past book perspective. We're winding down. I recently got another book that I'm going to start for this video. I may not finish it. It's I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. I'm in a class called Women, Gender, and Violence, and we have to make a final project, and I want to make it on that book, kind of. So yeah, I don't know how far I'll get into it, but yeah, that's the plan. I'm tired. All right, hi, it's Friday. I didn't read at all today, so I don't really know why I'm making this video. I had a research paper that I procrastinated, so I had to do that today. Yeah, I did check out 2 books from the library though. Not gonna tell you what they are, but I have a pretty busy weekend coming up. I don't know how much I'm gonna read, but I am strongly considering my next book being The Stepford Wives by Ira Levine. I've watched the movie, 1975 one, and yeah, I want to read the book and watch the movie in like closer proximity. I've never read the book, so yeah. I also just want to read more books written by women, given it's Women's History Month, but also just generally, I'd like to. So, yeah. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Not sure how much I'll have read by then, though. Hey everyone, it's Sunday. I didn't read at all yesterday or today. I don't know, I may read later today, but I don't want to film later today, so I'm filming now. Thanks for watching. This was pretty fun. Let me know if you want me to do something like this in the future. I definitely can and will if you want me to. I may just do it for myself. But yeah, I can read more than I think I can. And now it's midterm season, so I don't get to read anymore. Great time to be filming this video, to be ending this video, I should say. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good whatever.